Welcome back to the show, everybody. What the heck happened? My volume dipped. Anyways, Bidsy. What day is it? What day is it, Lynch?
Friday.
Thank you.
Friday, August 28th.
Nice.
2020.
The show is brought to you by Bidsy. Do you have a job and don't know who to contact? Bidsy it. Do you own a business and want to be alerted of nearby customers? Bidsy it. Big or small, Bidsy connects businesses and people to jobs. Post your project on bidsy.com for free today. Despite all the bad news and the angst that's out there, I feel like today has been a great show, Lynch, and thank you for that.
A lot of fun. Very enjoyable.
Starting today, by the way, the Lynch appearances are brought to you by our friends at Wheaton Kia, corner of Albert and Avonhurst. We couldn't fit this Kia hat on Lynch's head, so we put the hat up here. He's got the golf shirt, and I got one to wear too. But our poll question, I wanted to update this. This is our last segment with Lynch, by the way. The poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, will the CFL have a season in 2021? 63% of respondents saying yes on Twitter. On Facebook, exactly the same. 20% saying they don't know, and 17% saying no, there won't be a season. And I had to vote no. And I don't have any real inside knowledge other than, I did have a meeting with the government on Wednesday regarding my other career, and we talked about health, safety of the people of the province, and sports continues to not be a priority, John.
Well, I'm...
for the foreseeable future, by the way.
I'm shook up. How can I say it? That you'd say that you don't believe there's going to be something happening. You're not enthused about a year possibility for 2021. I am, but a guy like you who's been around doing this for 25 years has seen everything, and it doesn't look that good to you is what you're saying.
No.
In your head. Well, why? No enthusiasm? Huh?
Well, I believe the health officials that are making the calls are trying to save every life and stop every human being from catching COVID-19, coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that that's realistic. And it's coming at the cost of industry. It's coming at the cost of the mental health of the public, because that's the people that I'm dealing with. And how many times do we need to be told? We just had the president of the SJHL on the air last week, and the week before that, the president of the WHL, Ron Robinson, both saying our fate is in the hands of the health officials. The SJHL president said, listen, Rod, I know it's important to you and me, but it's not important to the government, because the health of the citizens of Saskatchewan, the safety, is more important than sport. And maybe I'm just small-minded, I guess, but I look at the people in sports that this is just devastating. It's devastating them.
Well, no kidding.
And I'm going to get to the comment from Craig Campbell in a second, watching from downtown Toronto, but I will say this about the health officials that have not missed a paycheck from what I can see. Probably don't go to sports games, don't run a business. I just don't think there's a lot of empathy for the people that this is hurting, these COVID protocols. That's not to say I'm not going along with it. For instance, went to walk into Walmart this morning to pick up this Tim Hortons and a couple things. Realized I wasn't wearing a mask. Everybody coming out was wearing masks. I didn't have one in my car, so I turned and left. I wasn't going to go in there and make a scene or be a jerk. I'm following the rules. Doesn't mean that I have to agree with them. That's all. So to put a bow on that, why would we believe that large crowds within the next 8 to 9 months are going to be allowed when they're not now?
Because we want to.
Well, you have to be realistic. Like you said, your friends are starting to accept that there's not a CFL. Well, I would damn sure hope they're accepting it. You're not.
No, I don't want. I'll never give up. I'm used to this week getting prepared for Labor Day, with the Bombers coming to town. Going to be a great Bomber Rider Classic with a beautiful hot day. Usually is a beautiful hot day.
Yep.
Best weather always comes for that Labor Day game. And we've seen some classic Labor Day games over the years. I go back to 1950 watching the Labor Day.
Yeah, this is, by the way, the first that there won't be. Yeah. Just to make you aware of that.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? I mean,
it is what it is.
But you surprise me, but you're being honest.
Hello.
You've got a job, and you're but the job's not influencing you. You're saying what you really think. I say there'll be a season. A lot of it's hope rather than reality, though.
But that's the idea of the vote. You're voting yes or no. Will there be a season?
Yeah.
And I'm saying as it stands now, look, we're 6 months into this. If you remember with the NFL, way back at the start of June, even in mid-May, they were talking about would the stadiums have 50% capacity or 25%. Some owners were saying we're going to play at 100% capacity, remember?
Yep.
And I'm reading Dr. Anthony Fauci, which, by the way, where's he been? I haven't heard from him in a long time.
Yep.
He said, hey, I'm with it. I like football, too. I'm a football fan. And society is going to look a lot different by September. Here we are.
Here we are in 3 days.
September's Tuesday, and I don't see anything changing. And I see Dr. Bonnie Henry out there in BC saying there's going to be many, many more months of this.
Yep.
So and with a 99.6% recovery rate, if that's what it is, I mean, that's what I'm reading. That's what I see from the CDC website where I go to read this.
Who do you know? How do you know who to believe?
Well, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. Center for Disease Control website is where I go for my information. And to a certain extent for numbers, Health Canada, but even they're misleading. Because the other day, late last week, it was 1,000 cases in Saskatchewan. And then I go back a couple days later, it's 1,500 cases in Saskatchewan. I'm like, whoa, it's really growing fast. Oh, wait, this is all time.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's only single digits active cases in the city that I live in. Why does it make it look like there's thousands?
Yeah.
Read the fine print. So anyways, the health officials don't see it the way that I see it, but they're the ones in charge. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
So you think that there's a possibility this could go on and on for 2 or 3 more years?
They're saying it will.
Yeah.
But this isn't a pundit sitting there on CTV Newsnet. This is the chief medical officer of the province of British Columbia, and nobody's challenging her.
Yeah. Well,
So if you want to know who to believe, that's who you got to listen to, whether you like it or not.
I can see, very realistically, 7 of the 9 teams getting going next year. But BC and Toronto not. They don't want to join.
Well,
and then what happens? I don't know.
Colin in
17
Ottawa.
league?
Interesting what Colin says. Dude, we are averaging around 120 new cases in a province of 14 million of Ontario. Can we have some baubles from the health authorities? What does that mean, baubles? I'm sorry. Before we break, can you tell me what are you getting at?
Don't know.
I think it's ridiculous that people are locked up, not allowed to play, when I know for a fact more people have died from mental health crises, suicides, drug overdose. Way, way, way more people have died from mental health concerns than coronavirus. And then let's talk about heart disease, diabetes. More people have died from that. Way more have died from that than coronavirus. And nobody's locking up the suites.
No, they aren't.
Right? Like, it's just,
if it gets away,
I'm not saying there's a conspiracy. I'm saying I don't like the way they're dealing
but it gets
with
to another way a year. The rest of this year, it's gone. And next year, if it gets gone to 2 years, two complete years with no football, be hard to take. And I don't know how difficult it is to recover.
Well, it's interesting you saying no Labor Day. I've been thinking a fall without the Thunder, a fall without the Rams. I can't imagine. I mean, we're used to the CFL, but we've been getting used for months to there not being a CFL. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the bread and butter of this city and in a lot of ways this province.
It's
from a sports aspect. And I can't apologize, by the way, for living in sports my whole life. I can't apologize for coming from a rural white family in small town Saskatchewan. I'm sorry. I might not have the most depth of knowledge and the breadth of everybody else, but that's not my fault, and I'm still entitled to my own opinion as well.
Well, I say this to you. It's not right. The situation is the way it is now. It's not right. And I think many times when I look at it more seriously that I'm not convinced that our politicians did as much as they could have. I think they could have done more.
They're just deferring to the health people.
No, well, I'm deferring to the fact that they could have done something, the premier or the mayors of Regina and Saskatoon, to get this team going. I don't know if Mr. Amos from Strasbourg knows how important football is.
Now you're swaying back into your own
I'm
thing.
saying he's
That's not a priority. They've said it a million times.
It's not a priority.
We got a break. Lynch, I'll see you soon.
All right.
We'll be back. DuPont will be here. We got the business of the week coming up. Re-up on the show topics, poll results. It's all ahead in overtime. It's the RP Show on Facebook Live, Game Plus TV Network, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.